chips as fertilizer. The farmers save the manure. It's very valuable to them, and it really helps the crops grow. But Robbie, there's a lot of thinking and planning that goes into working the land. It's like a science, like what you learn in school.
What's the next job, Farmer John?
Well, the next job is to plow the land. That puts fertilizer right into the soil.
You see that big plow? Farmer McDonald has a number of different plows and tractors on this farm. But the plow has to break up all the clods of earth that are stuck together. It has to loosen up the soil. The winter rains and the wind create these clods. And the plow turns over the soil so air and water and fertilizer can all mix up together inside the dirt. Some plows come mounted right on the back of the tractor, but most are attached like this one. They're called trailer plows. Now look at the blades. They look like half a heart. They're curved to dig right down into the soil, and then they lift it up and turn over the dirt. See the lower edge? That's the bottom, the point where the plow rides along the ground. In front of the plow is the share. That cuts right into the soil. That's where we get the word plowshare. As the tractor pulls the plow, each bottom pushes a row of earth to one side and makes a furrow. That's a groove in the earth. There's also an arm or beam. This holds the bottom in place. Oh, great. Farmer McDonald's plows are doing it just right.
Is he finished yet?
No, there are a lot of other jobs Farmer McDonald has to do before he's ready to plant the seeds. Look, the plow's off now. They're going to hook up a machine called a harrow. Soon the tractor's going to harrow a field that was plowed only a few days ago.
What's a harrow, Farmer John?
Well, harrowing's another step to prepare the soil before planting. Harrowing helps smooth out the plowed land. Well, there are two types of harrowing machines. One's called a spring tooth, the other's called a disc harrow. Farmer McDonald has a number of different size disc harrows. Well, Farmer Joe, tell Robbie about our disc harrows.
The harrow is a machine that's used to level off and break up the clumps in the field after you plow it. This harrow here has two sets of blades, the front and the back. You look at the front blades, and they break it up and throw it to the outside of the machine. The back blades throw the dirt back inside and more or less level the ground. So by the time you are done going over the whole field, the field should be just as level and very few clumps. Any clumps that are left in it are small clumps. That won't make any difference when you're planting your crops.
Okay, the harrow's connected to the tractor. It's ready to go. Whoa, the tractors are pulling our harrows right across those furrows. Watch them break up those plowed lumps. See how they hit the dirt? The harrow breaks up all those lumps and smooths out the soil. Look at them go. The tractors are working real hard pulling those harrows. You see how they pull across our field at different angles? Farmer McDonald and his men have to use the harrow at least 3 or 4 times to get the soil right for planting.
Does the tractor plant the seeds now, Farmer John?
No, the tractor helps again, but now it pulls a machine called a planter.
Sometimes they're called seed drills or seed hoppers. Planting is also called sowing, and planters sow or put seeds into the soil. Did you know there are different types of planters for corn, potatoes, and other kinds of crops? But they all work the same way. The seed hopper opens up the soil, then it drills in seeds and closes up the hole. It's one smooth motion. Watch this planter make nice, neat rows for all the seeds to grow. This huge seed hopper is also putting insecticide into the soil. See those yellow baskets sitting on the back? Insecticides are chemicals that help keep bugs and bad insects away, so they don't come around to hurt the crop. You know, I think they're planting corn in that field. Did you know that corn seeds are planted about 3 feet apart to get the best results?
Are the crops coming out yet, Farmer John? I want to see them get picked.
Well, normally it takes many weeks for crops to grow tall, but I've got a surprise. Look,
A full field of corn. It's now fall on Old McDonald's farm, and the corn's ready for harvest. Now watch how the corn gets picked. This plant munching machine is called a combine. Has a special attachment at the front called a corn head. The corn head pulls the ears of corn right into the machine through feed rollers. Inside the combine, the corn cob's taken off the stalk and all the kernels are separated. The kernels are the part we eat at home that tastes so sweet. And when the kernels are pulled off, they're blown out through that spout on top and right into a grain bin. The farmers use all the loose kernels to help feed some of their animals, like pigs. See how the stalks come out from the back of the combine? Farmers can't use the corn stalks or the rest of the plant, but they leave it on the field to help with fertilizing. Stalks go right back into the soil and help prevent it from blowing away. Wow! Look at that combine harvest our corn. You see those metal rods at the side? They're called snouts, and they help keep the machine going straight in line during the harvest. The corn harvester is one of the most important time-saving devices for farmers around the world. Without it, it would take an experienced worker over 8 hours to pick just 1 acre of planted corn. The corn picker can do the job in only 2 hours. Great! Look at this beautiful field of wheat. Farmer McDonald planted it weeks ago, and now it's also ready for harvest. Robbie, for hundreds of years, farmers used to harvest wheat entirely by hand. They had to bind it, shock, thresh, winnow, and then get it ground up in a mill. And here comes our automatic combine again to save time. Now it has another machine at the front called a header. Those quick-turning wheels help pull down the wheat plant. Then inside, the combine separates all the grain from the wheat shaft. All the kernels are pulled off, just like the corn. Now sometimes a wheat combine has its own cart to carry grain back to the farm. Sometimes there's a separate truck that follows alongside. When the load is full, one truck can go off to the storage bin, another can keep working with the combine. That helps save more time. Now, Robbie, just like our corn harvester, the waste part of the plant is spit out the back and left in the fields as fertilizer. Look at those big wheels turning. Well, this combine can harvest every stalk of wheat out in this field all by itself. The combine can also harvest other small grain crops like alfalfa and clover. This plant-chomping monster can handle hundreds of pounds of grain every second, and it weighs over 2 tons. Robbie, corn and wheat and other small grain crops are grown both for people and for the farm animals, and then they have to be stored away in the cold winter months so the animals will have enough food to eat. Sometimes our grain's even shipped overseas to other countries that don't have as many farms as we do. Take a look at these storage facilities. They're huge. They can hold thousands of pounds of grain before being shipped or sold. The farmers use these fast-moving conveyors to help move their grains quickly into storage. This grain's going right into a big holding tank called a silo. Look, it's also time to cut dry and bale the hay out here on Old MacDonald's farm. The hay is used to help feed almost all the animals here. We'll go and visit some of the farm animals in just a few minutes and watch them eat. But here's another new machine. It's called a baler, and it does more jobs that farmers used to do by hand. The baler mows over a tall field of grass and cuts it right down. The cut grass goes right up into this machine where huge belts help rotate it into a big round ball. When the baler has enough grass, it stops and just drops the bales of hay right out in the field. Then it keeps working. Look at that grass cutter go. That's great. And now some farmers leave the bales right out in the fields and cover them up. Others put them up into a hayloft in a barn like this for winter storage. Robbie? Robbie, where are you?
I'm up here.
Hey, what are you doing up there in the hayloft?
This is great. I love to play in the hay.
Hey, look at the cows out in this field. See me eating all that hay? It's winter here on the farm now. In the summer, they can spend all day just being lazy and eating grass out in the pasture. It's called grazing. Helps make their milk better. It's time for the cows to be milked again. Well, here they come. Let's go inside the barn. Well, Farmer Joe, why don't you tell Robbie how cows get milk?
Well, this cow here is a 7-year-old Ayrshire cow. She's been milking about 8 months now. She's giving very little milk. She's almost at the end of her cycle of milking. For a cow to stop milking, they have to have a calf. In about 2 months, she's going to dry on, which means she's not going to be giving any milk. She will be giving all the food she eats to her calf. And if you look right in this area, here, at certain times, you can see the calf kicking. And I've got my shoulder against her, and I'm milking her. I can feel it kicking me a little bit. When they get to be about 5 months along in their pregnancy, you can start feeling the calf moving and kicking. This cow will probably have about a 100-pound calf when it's born. liters a pot. If I had a machine, I was milking it with a machine, it'd take me about 4 or 5 minutes to completely milk her out, and that's twice a day. And actually, machine milking her is better because it does a more complete job.
Great, Farmer Joe. Our farm only has a few cows, so we can do everything by hand. But look at this. Our neighbor's farm has so many cows, they need to use machines to milk them. There are just too many to do by hand. See how the cow's udders are cleaned before milking? That's to prevent any disease. These section tips fit around the cow's 4 teats. Then they're hooked up to big milking machines that pump out the milk. When the milk's collected, it gets cleaned and processed to make sure it's nice and fresh before we buy it in the store. Don't worry, the cows like to be milked by the machine. They want to give us their milk.
Well, look where we are now. Outside the chicken coop.
Chicken soup?
No, a chicken coop. That's a place where the chickens come in at night to stay safe and warm in the winter. And next to the chicken coop, there's a pen where some of the chickens can run free during the day. You know, they need exercise and sunshine just like us. Hey, let's go inside and have Farmer Joe tell you about our chickens here at Old McDonald's farm.
This is the chicken roost, and this is where the chickens spend their nights. They climb, jump up here, fly up, whatever, and they'll perch on this. And this is enough room for them in the summer when it's hot. They'll spread out all over each pole. In the winter, most of them will sit on just one pole and push each other together so that they stay warm for the nights. The chickens mainly will get up into these nest boxes and lay their eggs. Right now, if you look, we got a whole ton of eggs in here. We got 3, 4, 10, 12, about 18 eggs laying in here. You look under this chicken right here. This chicken's laying on eggs, sitting on eggs, I mean. She's probably laid one of them. There's 3 eggs. There's another one, another one. There's 5 eggs right there. So they've laid about close to their full 100%. There's 25 chickens in here. It's close to 25 eggs in here today. There's not a thing wrong with these eggs, except they're loose right now. You pick them up, put them in a crate, holds a dozen eggs, put them in the store, and you buy a dozen like that. And these are nice and fresh eggs. And there's nothing like a fresh eggs, because eggs you buy in the store are generally 3 weeks old.
That's great. Tell us more, Farmer Joe.
These chickens here are called bantams. They're half the size of a full-grown chicken. These 3 right here are her chicks, and they were hatched out about the 1st of November. This is the mother. And the unique thing about these chickens is we call them the snowshoe chickens. They have feathers all the way down their legs and covering their toes.
Robbie, the single most important thing in caring for chickens is cleanliness. The cleaner the chicken coop, the more eggs we get because the chickens stay healthier. If the coop isn't clean, the chickens can get very sick and die. So we have to clean the coop every day. In fact, cleanliness around the farm is something we take very seriously here.
Robbie, let's go over there now and find out about all the chores they do here at Old McDonald's farm.
On this farm, the workers have chores every morning. We start our chores at 8 a.m. First, we have to clean the stalls and barns for all the animals. We also have to feed and water them. You see those small wood chips being scattered around on the floor? The wood chips are little pieces of trees that have been cut up. We buy a lot of them. The chips help keep the ground warm for all our animals when they stay inside the barns. The wood chips also catch the manure that the goats and the other animals have left around. This mixture of manure and wood chips is very important to our farm. That's another reason why we spend so much time clearing up the manure.
Why is it important? Lots of going away.
Well, I showed you before how we use manure to fertilize the land. This is how we collect it. Our workers pick up this combination of wood chips and manure from all around the farm, and then they shovel it up into wheelbarrows. They carry it right out to our manure platform. Take a look at this manure loader. See how our workers can come right up to the top of the platform? They position the wheelbarrow right over the manure spreader and let the wood chips and manure drop inside. It's tough work to clean the stalls. It can take a long time. Most days the workers just pick up chips which have manure, but once a week they have to clean out the entire barn and sweep it clean. Feeding all the animals is the other big chore we have to do every day on Old McDonald's farm. While some stalls are being cleaned, other animals are being fed.
Sometimes our workers feed the animals right in the barns. Then they let them out to get exercise and play. Sometimes the animals are fed outside. Then we start cleaning up. It depends on the weather that day. But look, it's Farmer McDonald up in the hayloft. He's cut off some hay from the bales, and now he's preparing it to feed his animals. Here come the donkeys. They're going to eat their hay. Almost all the animals eat hay on our farm. Hay is very important to the farm. That's why we cut it down every spring and put it into those big bales. The goats and the sheep are also very hungry today. They eat hay from a big wooden box called a feeder. And just like people, all animals need to drink fresh water. It's our workers' job to inspect and make sure that there's fresh water every day. Otherwise, the animals might get sick. Look who's also here today. It's Dana, the farrier. Let's talk to her about what the farrier does around the farm.
The farrier takes care of the horses' feet. They trim them and shoe them. They can do corrective work if the horse has a problem. Today, I have some ponies and horses to trim, and I also have a horse to shoe in the front and also put snow pads on. First, I start out with my hammer and my clinch cutter, and I unbend the nails that I bended over the first time, so I can take the shoe off easier with my shoe pullers. Then I use my hoof knife to clean the foot and also to pare out the dead sole. Then I use my nippers to nip any hoof that has grown since I was last here, which is 6 to 8 weeks. I use my rasp to rasp off the excess foot and level it. And then once I have the shoe on, I use my rasp and my clinchers, which are these, to bend over the nails and finish off the foot. I enjoy most being around the horses and helping them when their feet need work and just working around them.
Where the pigs from, John? Where are they?
Well, pigs are some of the nicest and friendliest animals we have on the farm. But everyone makes fun of them because they think they're ugly. They squeal and roll around in the mud. They like to eat up garbage. They can eat leftovers from people food, grass cuttings, all the leftover crops and stalks like corn. Well, they can even eat the entire ear of corn. Old McDonald's farm has a good home for the pigs. There's a nice big area for them to play in and a pig pen where they can go in at night to keep warm during the winter. Pigs are hardy animals and they like to stay outside a lot. Our friendly pigs are sure having fun today.
This is great. I learned all about on McDonald's farm.
Good, Robbie. Well, I think it's finally time to go. Well, goodbye, Farmer McDonald. Goodbye, Farmer Joe. Well, Robbie, now that you know all about farming, maybe you'll want to be a farmer someday.
A farmer? So I can put the chicken, cows, the pigs, the horses, the beef, the ducks.
yourself the age-old question. Which came first? The chicken or the egg? Think about it.
Alright! You are a genie!
That old chicken and egg trick works all the time. And you're right, I am a genie.
But what are you doing here?
Well, I was just about ready to experience life on the road as a trucker. And that's why I was underneath my rig changing the oil.
Do you like tricks too?
Like trucks? Like trucks? Well, I love trucks. All kinds of trucks. Like these. Small trucks, big trucks, blast trucks, and sweeper trucks. Trucks that move cars, and trucks that move rocks. Trucks that carry food, and trucks that look like food. Trucks that drive over bridges, and trucks that become bridges.
Say what? I never read trucks that look like food and trucks that turn into bridges.
Do trucks travel? Do tires turn? Do trucks have horns? Horns? That's right, Jennifer. There are trucks that look like food and bridges that look like trucks. But I'll show you more of that later. There are all kinds of trucks for all kinds of jobs.
Boy, you're not working with those kinds of trucks. Well, I'm sure we could if we had to, but I've never seen any interesting trucks like those around here.
Interesting trucks like those? Interesting trucks like those? Why, Stephen, all trucks are interesting. I mean, look around you. All of these trucks here have a special story to tell. What? You don't believe me? A full-fledged genie of the third class? Well, all right. Well, then I'll prove it to you. Oh, but first you have to wear one of these if you want to be a real trucker. There, that's better. Now, I'll prove to you that I'm a genie. Pick any truck here that you want. Pick any truck. Come on. Okay, that's good. Let's do it. Oh, well, isn't she a beauty? Look how long this is. This is the trailer. And this is the cab or the tractor. Trailer, tractor, trailer. Tractor. Got the point?
We got the point, but why does it come in two parts? And what kind of thing does it carry? And how come it has so many wheels?
Whoa, my little highballer. Down, shift your lips, and slow up a bit. All right, let's take these questions one at a time. The reason why the tractor is separate from the trailer is so that the trailer can be brought to different locations and loaded or unloaded as the case may need be.
But how?
Oh, simple. Come here, guys. Watch this. These are the truck's legs or dolly wheels. First, you take the crank and you turn it. See?
Let me try.
Okay. You know, why are we doing this? There's a much easier way. Hold on.
Wow, I'm down to the ground.
That's right. Okay, kids, now it's time to move back. Move back! There, that's better. Now, once the wheels are down, the tractor can safely pull away from the trailer. Okay, watch this. Okay.
All right, go to the truck.
and it's a fifth wheel, which is what this is called. See this? Come over here. See this?
Yes.
That goes here.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing over there? Look at this.
That's really neat. I do that.
And if you knew that, did you know this? Now, in cars, the engine is under the hood. But in trucks like this one, the engine is under the hood.
What? Far out. I knew that. I did. I knew that. Look how big it is. Did you know that trucks like these travel an average of 400,000 miles per year?
No, I didn't know that.
Well, they do. My dad says that it's like driving all the way across the country from Los Angeles to New York, then back again every week.
Well, do you guys want to look at this tab?
Do wheels turn? Do truck horns blast?
Oh, that's okay. I think I'll take that as a yes. All right, well, help me close this. Okay. Come on. As with any driver, safety and comfort are important. But with truck drivers, safety and comfort are essential. For instance, one of the reasons why truckers sit up so high is so they can see better. And look at these controls here. This here tells the truck driver how hot the engine is. This one tells him how much oil pressure there is. This one shows him how fast he's going. And these are very important. These tell him how much air pressure he has. And the air pressure is what works the brakes in order for the truck to stop. Communication is also very important for truck drivers. Today, most trucks are equipped with a computer, which tells them where they're going and what kind of a load they need to pick up and where they're going to take it. It also comes equipped with a CB radio or cellular telephones. Now, cellular telephones allow the truck driver to make personal or business calls anywhere in the country, and CB radios allow a truck driver to talk to anyone up and down the highway. Watch this. Yo, good buddies, this is Highway Harry. Come on back.
What's he saying?
Yo, good buddies, this is Highway Harry coming at you. Come on back.
Harry calls himself Highway Harry. And he's asking any other truckers listening to his call.
Fellow road hogs, this is Highway Harry. I got some 10-12s at my side.
10-12's at my side means he has some country. That's it.
And this load's looking for a 1013 on the big I-5.
And now he's asking for the traffic and weather conditions on the Interstate 5.
Really good, Stephen, you're right.
Jumping Cheetos faster. That is Highway Harry. Big Redman here. Why, it's been a month of detour since I heard your voice. How they roll, Harry?
10-4, Big Rig Betty. What you hauling?
I got me a racer full of 40,000 pounds of M&M's.
of bringing along your